I've learned to hit go live and just get the fuck away from it. Put your cursor somewhere way far away. Okay. That's on loop. We're good there. Do you have a show script?
Nope.
Okay.
We're just going off the top of our head.
So you just tell me when you think you want to go to commercials.
You say we're going to go to a commercial, and then I'll do some filler to let that spool up.
Yep.
I'll turn these headsets down a little bit. We are kind of hot. Oh man, I got way up. Ooh. You were okay, I was hot. You tell me when you're ready to go.
I'll just let that throw the...
I gotta go gauge this one.
Yep.
When this ends, I'm gonna hit
mute and hit 30 seconds. Hit unmute so David can hear it. Oh, we're on. You don't have
yeah,
us
we're
muted.
on. Yeah, we're good.
The heart of high school wrestling is here in Adams County, and nobody covers it like WZBD.
You guys got a heck of a view.
It's time for Haggard, Hershey, and Zelt High School Wrestling Weekly.
Everybody wants to be there.
It's the coolest thing in the world.
90 minutes of interviews, results, discussions, and prognostications.
I'm excited.
As Hall of Famer Rex Brewer and Dane Filling bring you another episode.
We hope that you can join us here.
Live from
The Double Eagle Clubhouse Grill
on Channel Z.
I'm excited.
92.7 FM.
Welcome, wrestling fans, to the IHSAA State Finals for girls wrestling, the what they're calling the second annual. You and I know it's been more than 2 years that we've been covering the state finals, but this is the second one under the IHSAA sanction. Dane Filling live with you here from the Corteva Coliseum on the campus of the Indiana State Fairgrounds, and I am joined by my broadcast partner for today, Hall of Famer Rex Brewer.
How you doing, Dane?
Good. You did a nice job keeping us safe on the way down, and we had an enjoyable. I had an enjoyable cup of coffee. I don't know if you had any Mountain Dew or
I did not.
what you had in there,
I'll
but
have to dial one up before the match gets going here.
we've already had some good conversations and some handshakes and some hugs with some really good friends, and we lucked out because Jason Willie was parking directly next to us, and he let us right in. That was wonderful. We didn't have to wait out in the cold. We've already had a chance to talk to Assistant Commissioner Robert Falcons, who's in charge of both boys wrestling and girls wrestling. Pat Culp is down on the floor, making sure that everything is good to go technology-wise. Meanwhile, our good friend J.D. Minch has been downstairs, and they kind of give J.D. the tough job, Rex. He's kind of just the guy who moves equipment, makes sure that you got your red and your green ankle straps, you got your red and your green carpets for the corners. Everybody on the table helps, got all their work, and just the little unforeseen things that you wouldn't necessarily think about.
You know, those unsung heroes, the Pat Culps, the J.D. Minches of the world that help make things run behind the scenes that people just don't quite understand the reality of.
And so we're looking forward to interacting with them. And we have 121 teams represented here today at the IHSAA State Finals, representing every corner and every side of the Hoosier State. And we're very excited to be able to bring you full coverage of all of the rounds today, all the way up leading up to the championship bouts tonight, which are scheduled to start at 7 o'clock. Doors just opened, and we see people streaming in. There was a large line outside the Coliseum, and it took us a while to get into the parking lot because the parking situation was was so heavy, and we expect a big crowd. Last year, they estimated somewhere between 3,000 and 4,000 people, if I remember right, and they're expecting a bigger crowd this year. The weather, I think, for the most part, is supposed to be better, although I know there is some talk of some snow in some different places in the state tonight. But, yeah, lots of people streaming in on both sides of us, and this is just a gorgeous facility to host this event.
And Dane, you and I have talked in years past, until the IHSAA can find a Saturday to put this on, their attendance is going to be limited. Mom and Dad just always can't take off work to go and watch if you don't have a wrestler in here. And your casual fan that just wants to go watch a good wrestling event is not going to take the day off of work to come and watch the girls wrestling state finals. It's just the way it is. And I think until they get it to a point where it's on a Saturday and they work with the coaches for the boys side and say, don't put anything important on that Saturday because we're going to put the girls state final right there and treat it that way. You and I even talked, instead of run this through on one day, do a Friday night, Saturday night like the boys. If you want it to run like the boys, run it like the boys.
Yeah, and I'm sure that the IHSAA, knowing how they work, Rex, they're going to look at attendance figures, and they're going to hold it here until they feel that they can put enough people downtown to justify renting out that venue. And, you know, it's not as simple as it sounds. I'm sure that as the main tenant, the Pacers have a pretty decent amount of say as to what weekends are open, and you've got to have that thing. Those kind of tournaments are scheduled years in advance, and I'm sure it costs a little bit more to rent that out than it does this.
My, when Pat and Gary started throwing around numbers one time about, we want to have this here and want to have this, and they start throwing out the numbers of how many thousands of dollars it takes, $35,000 just to have a space for a one-day event. So if you take this to Friday night, you get a package deal for Friday, Saturday, or trying to work into 2 days is even worse. I mean, this venue right here for girls state final, it's just the right size. This place holds, 7,000 people, 6,500, I think. But it's just the right amount. Plenty of seating. It's like the Memorial Coliseum without the roof on it, without the extra seating in the top.
Yeah, like it used to be. And a little bit more intimate even than that, with the way that the arena in the top layer, I don't know if people can see it, but it kind of wraps around, whereas the Coliseum is more four-sided. This has more of that hockey rink oval where it follows the curve of the hockey rink. So, yeah, it's going to be a great venue for as long as they keep it on one day. But I think if you want to turn it into a 2-day event with the Friday night and then a Saturday second day, then you really have to put it somewhere where people can go and enjoy. And this area of Indianapolis isn't rich with hotels and restaurants and bars and those types of things. So
it's like if you have in between, like breaks between sessions, you're not going to walk to a bunch of restaurants. I mean, it's you got to drive someplace to get there.
So, Rex, we have an abbreviated show today because we want to be able to get off the air, switch over to the link that we've been putting out there across the state, and we're going to stay on that link for our wrestling coverage. So let's cue up a break here, and when we come back, we're going to take a look really at the team title and the team race and what that looks like and what you should be listening for throughout the day.
You've been listening to the High School Wrestling Weekly on WZBD's YouTube.
Locally owned and operated by Shane Reynolds and family, DDD Maintenance and Repair is your place to go for heavy-duty truck and diesel engine repair. Located just outside of Monroe, DDD Maintenance and Repair also offers sand and glass blasting for all of your surface restoration projects. Whether you're looking to get your truck or diesel engine to run like new, or your metal restoration project to look like new, we have a blast renewing the past. Give Shane and the guys a call at 223-5442. That's DDD Maintenance and Repair.
When faced with the difficult task of making arrangements for your loved one, many emotions and questions arise. What would they want me to do if they were here? Where is the money coming from? How much should I spend? Do they want burial or cremation? The staff at Haggard, Hershey, and Zelt Funeral Home can help you navigate these tough questions. Make your wishes known and allow us to make sure that your wishes are carried out. Call Ryan Hershey or Eric Zelt at 260-724-7167 to schedule an appointment today.
Shop local. It's a phrase we hear all the time, but for the staff and family at Package Liquors, it means something extra. Package, with locations in Decatur, Monroe, Berne, and Markle, is a local family-owned business that has been serving local communities for decades. We take your support and patronage and return it by supporting local athletes on WZBD and donating to different organizations across Adams County. The next time you're deciding where to shop, shop local. Shop at Package. It's where your friends shop.
Based out of the Indiana Tech Wrestling Facility, the Warrior Regional Training Center is an elite training center for youth wrestlers, high school wrestlers, and college and senior level athletes. Featuring a college coaching staff with a strong history of developing talent and producing results, Warrior RTC will give any wrestler quality training partners to push them to new levels in the state-of-the-art 25,000 square foot wrestling building. The training is affordable and private training is also available. Put Warrior RTC in your corner this season.
Welcome back once again to the Corteva Coliseum on the campus of the Indiana Fairgrounds. Rex Brewer along with Dane Filling for another episode of the Hager Hershey's High School Wrestling Weekly.
And, of course, we want to give a shout-out to all of our sponsors that you'll hear throughout today's shortened show. We also want to give a shout-out to Brad Weber and his family for his support of high school wrestling on WZBD. We hope everybody enjoyed our pair of broadcasts last night. We had two great dual meets and some really solid individuals, and both Adams County teams came away with wins.
Yeah, I think I checked this morning. I think the Adams Central Delta match was up over 367 hits, I think, 400 hits, I think, last night.
And we were able to get the webcam going for the Belmont match as well, and I know a lot of people enjoyed that part of it. So we said we were going to take a look here at these teams and analyze who are the contenders for the team state title. And I think the conversation the entire year long has really revolved around Whiteland, and they've backed it up. Honestly, I think that South Regional was the toughest one of the four this year when you think about the fact that Bloomington South and Franklin and a couple other teams, Columbus East, were in that one, and it was awfully deep. Whiteland was number one at the end of the year. They haven't lost a duel all year, and they bring in 8 girls today. That's the most of any team.
And that's pretty solid. And I want to go back and give you your due, Dane. You on the Belmont Yorktown had 367. My match for Delta Adams Central 115, but then I was fighting against video.
But I had August.
I was
and you know he attracts his own crowd. He's got his little minions, I think, out there. They just go out and click. He's got his cousin in Washington.
Does he have bots?
He has his cousin in Washington who's always listening.
I think he's got bots out there running your numbers up for you.
There was a bit of question from him. He did mention that he wouldn't mind coming along today, but you know, the young man carries a 4.0. He's ranked number 1 in his class, and before he got on the air last night, he was doing his geography homework.
There you go.
So he's understanding what the assignment is. So Whiteland with 8 wrestlers, likely the favorite here. They've been ranked number 1 most of the season. Number 2 Crown Point got 6 through, and Franklin Central currently ranked number 3, and they come in with 7. Now Franklin Central and Whiteland wrestled earlier in the year, and Whiteland had them by I think a dozen points, 10 or 12, something like that. So these teams have seen each other. There's a lot more commons than there ever used to be, Rex. Then with 6 teams in, like I said, Crown Point comes in with 6. They're ranked number 2, and Hobart are number 4. They also have 6 wrestlers here today. So those are really your 4 teams who you think may challenge. Now, a lot of that depends on how they wrestle here in this very first round. But there are a couple of teams, you know, those rankings on Indiana Mat that I do, those are really dual team rankings. And certainly we're still in that stage, especially in the girls, where, you know, you can have 5 or 6 really good girls, but if you carry 4 forfeits, you're not going to beat anybody who's good and has, you know, a full lineup. So Bloomington South did not make my final rankings, but they come in here with 5. And so we'll see what those girls look like and how they perform in the opening round. Now, Franklin also has 5, and they're ranked 8th. They've had a really solid season. They I think it's funny to look at some of those girls' results, Rex, and you see 43-42 as a common occurrence. It's a little bit like your match last night where you can clearly pick out 7 favorites for one team, 7 favorites for the other, and then you just go at it and hope that you end up with 7 falls.
Little toss-up matches there.
And that's been a new element for the girls over the last 2 years as the dual part of the sport has really taken off. You wouldn't have thought about those things a couple years ago when really the dual tournaments didn't even exist.
Yeah, I know that first right off the bat, typically the Jay County contingency is pretty strong down here. Just Kitty Rowell's down here for their team. She'll be wrestling at 100 pounds right off the bat, so she'll be one of the ones looking at. She comes in as senior 28-4. She will be wrestling against Annalise Sanchez from New Haven. Right below her is going to be Amelia Stark, another Homestead wrestler. So a couple of local girls right off the bat starting off at 100 pounds.
Her dad's already claimed his seat there. Now, one interesting thing I thought we'd talk about today was our official last night, Scott Billings. I think irked the Belmont staff a little bit because he claimed that it's in the rules that the coaches need to be seated in line with the wrestlers. And so Belmont typically goes with a 45-degree angle for both sets of coaches on the side of the scoreboard, so it's a little bit easier to access and those types of things. And he made them move the chairs and the carpet for them. So it's just kind of funny to see the way things are set up. In a state tournament, in the state finals, they're pretty serious about limiting you to 2 guys, and you don't get to have 3 assistants screaming and shouting behind you.
Well, at Muncie Central versus Belmont at the service complex there tonight, Jim Bopp was there, and they had the chairs set up like that. And they asked him if that was okay, and Jim said, well, I'm going to tell you because of lack of space, because there's not enough room, we're going to let her slide. He said, but don't make a habit of it. So,
is this me when I need it?
Yes.
Okay. So, yeah, that's what we're looking for the team scores. We're going to try to do a little bit more with the team scores this year and try to build up that race. So we're looking forward to that. I did want to see, who do we have here? It's Alexandra Bostic, who's on the program this year.
No one more fitting than her to be on there. She is a beast.
And is that her down there on the floor in the jumpsuit right there? She was looking at her picture that's on the top, and it's kind of cool. It's a cool honor to have that spot, right? Because not only are you on the program, you're hanging around everybody's neck on their credential, and you're even up on the scoreboard on the 45s that are there and all the way around. So
I saw the my tag from last year, and Maddie Marsh was on the cover. And Maddie Marsh, I just think you said she's a junior this year, looking to be another multiple state champion. She's been ranked number 1 all year, still undefeated in her weight class. And there's a couple of girls in her weight class that might test her a little bit.
That's actually Kennedy 9 from Wawasee, now that I look a little bit closer.
Because it says 9 on the back of her jersey?
Well, I knew it before she turned around, Rex. I give you credit.
You're a German teacher. That does not mean no.
The woman beside her is a longtime table help from Wawasee and a good friend of Pat Culp and Mary Freitz. So a couple other local connections for you here today. Marv Dreyer, a longtime teacher at Winnikin, is down working tech and on the computers. He's recently moved to Michigan to be closer to family, but still active and still participating in the state tournament. So that's really cool. And, you talk about guys like Greg Ratliff and Marv Dreyer, who most people around here don't know. But here they are given time in their weekend. Last week it was Greg helping out with Team State, and it takes people like that to make tournaments like this run.
Ready for a round of commercials here?
Yeah, let's get another round of commercials, and we'll start talking about some of the big first-round matchups right after this.
Go.
Hello, this is Joel from your local hometown Package Liquors. Package Liquors provides the best selection of domestic, import, and craft beers in Z-Lane. With locations in Decatur, Monroe, Bern, and Markle, you're always just a short drive away from picking up the perfect last-minute gift or just the right six-pack to watch the game with friends. You're never a stranger when you walk through the doors, and our smiling staff never has a problem giving you a recommendation when you're not sure what it is you need. Stop in at one of our 4 locations and see what hometown service looks like. Package Liquors, it's where your friends shop.
Renowned around the Midwest for his skills and his creative abilities, Nate Bowers and the team at Bowers Paint Studio in Decatur work with a wide range of clients, from collision repair to custom paint jobs for classic cars and motorcycles. Located on Monroe Street on the west side of Decatur, Bowers is your place for body work too, whether it's getting your ride back on the road or finally getting that classic car, the paint job you've always wanted. Stop by or give Nate a call to put the best in the business to work for you.
First Bank of Bern is proud to serve as the only local bank in Adams County. I'm Jessica Zerker with First Bank of Bern in Decatur. We believe that a bank's strength is rooted in the prosperity of the communities it serves. This drives our commitment to nurturing the success of businesses in our local area. We provide our customers with easy-to-use banking solutions and exceptional service as part of our dedication to fostering their growth. Whether it's through loans, lines of credit, cash management, or other tailored services, First Bank of Bern stands ready to support your business in thriving and prospering. First Bank of Bern, member FDIC, equal opportunity lender.
The staff at Haggard, Hershey, and Zelt Funeral Home is honored to serve the community we love and live in. Locally owned and operated by Ryan Hershey and Eric Zelt, we understand that each family we serve and each life lived tells a unique story. Our goal is to offer comfort, care, and dignity to all who entrust their loved ones to our care. We are proud to call Adams County our home and look forward to serving you for generations to come.
Welcome back once again to the Corteva Coliseum. Rex Brewer along with Dane Filling as we're on the another segment of the High School Wrestling Weekly. What we've become known for is the pre-state finals wrestling show, and Dane, it's always a good time when we get down to the boys state finals. We have a pretty good list of people that we interview, but today these girls are all business. All their coaches and everybody that is important enough not to be on our show is busy getting ready for this big tournament now.
Yeah, we've definitely, we used to think that we were just going to be able to pull people off the floor and talk before the tournament's going, but there's a lot of seriousness down there, and we see some of the girls getting their warm-up partners out on the mat and getting ready. I think Pat's down there just trying to work off his nervousness.
It's like he's getting in to shoot right and ride a bull again. And there's a couple of important gentlemen going out the end down there, and Robert Falcons, the assistant commissioner, and the Iron Bear himself, Coach Gary Myers, who is very instrumental in making all this thing run.
Rex, I saw that you printed off your brackets. Thought we might take a look at some of the key matchups in this first round and some of the local girls that we'll be looking at. What jumps out to you there at 100?
On the top of the bracket, Caitlin Foudy from Whiteland Community, undefeated at 23-0. She is on the opposite side of the bracket of Jalea Powers, sophomore from Crown Point, with 28-2. Those two are probably two best records. Center Grove's Leah Brown at 30-2, also in the middle, and Katie Rouse 28-4, coming out of that top half of the bracket, the very bottom and the top half of the bracket. And those look like some quality wrestlers there in that 100-pound weight class.
And, you know, we've spent some time talking about it in the show before, and I've had a lot of conversations with people who have been talking up, I don't know how to put it correctly, but the sort of the elite level of girls and how big that group has grown to. And I know the new scoring system changes it a little bit, but it's crazy how much difference there is between, say, the regional qualifier and the girls who don't make it out of sectional, maybe just beginners. And then you look at the girls who get knocked out in those two opening rounds of regionals. And then you'll come here today, and the difference between some of the top two out of the other regionals and the bottom two, there'll be a lot of falls in this first round.
You'll have girls here today that have spent their whole summer wrestling, you know, going to Fargo, going to Virginia Beach, the duels. They're all over the place. The amount of girls wrestling tournaments that are happening now has really boosted up as the sport has really grown leaps and bounds.
And the cool thing about today as well is that we're going to have an opportunity to see a lot of rematches from last week, from in the regular season. And in our next segment, we're going to spend some time talking about girls who are returning champs. And Rex, it's impossible for all the returning champs from last year to repeat again because some of them are in the same weight class.
I know at 105 pounds, you got Isabella Ocampo, ranked number 1 in the state, the junior from New Haven. She's 31-0. Down in the bottom half of the bracket from Riverton Park is Shelby Lightgable, and she is 35-1, just a 10th grader. Other good records in her. Ella Nybert from Indian Creek, 26-0 in that match. Also, Jadis Sordelette, the junior from Franklin Central, 29-2. So those quarter matches going to have some good matchups in them.
And all the way through, and the wrestling has really definitely improved in the upper weights compared to just several years ago. And we've got, you know, some girls who are looking to become potential 4-time state champs today as well. So we're going to follow all of those storylines, and we're hoping that we get a chance to talk to a couple of them tonight. So we hope that if you're listening this morning and you got a long day ahead for your Friday for work, hope you can wrap up your business and then tune in tonight for the state finals. It's going to be a ton of fun.
At 110 pounds, a young lady that I've interviewed a couple of times now, Haley Corporal, the junior from Eastbrook, 30-2. She had been the number 1 ranked wrestler in the state. I think she may have dropped. I think she took a loss in the tournament series, but also in that bracket with just 1 loss is Anna Marie Schuler, as she's 34-1. She's out of Seymour. Victoria Valiza, a junior from North Central, she has just 1 loss in the season. So Isabella Dowdy, the senior from Indian Creek, also 16-2, the bottom half of the bracket. So 110, pretty loaded with some great wrestlers. 115 pounds, there's a wrestler from East Noble. There's a young lady from Fort Wayne Northside in there. Kenley Keffer from Daleville that I've interviewed numerous times, the junior from Daleville. She's 24-2. And another young lady from Carroll High School, Rachel Ballard, a sophomore, with a 32-8 record in a bottom half of the bracket. Some of those other wrestlers, Katie Epley, the junior from Mooresville, 29-2 in the top half of the bracket. And then Kendall Moe, the senior from Indianapolis Cathedral, 33-0, number 1 ranked wrestler in the state.
Well, Rex, let's cue up another round of commercials, and when we come back, we'll talk about those returning state champions and just how accomplished of a group they are, and talk about what kind of history might be made right after this.
You hear it all the time. Do you have the right insurance coverage? But are you really taking that question seriously? Josh Book may be stationed in his home office in Noble County, but he's ready to serve you if you're listening to this broadcast, no matter what county you're in, and help you get the best insurance for your farm, business, or home. A proud insurance agent with Farm Bureau Insurance, Josh is ready to have a conversation with you about the rates you're paying and the coverage you're getting. Give him a call and have that important conversation with an experienced Farm Bureau agent today. Find out more at infarmbureau.com.
If you're serious about taking your wrestling to the next level, then Warrior RTC Wrestling Club is the place to be. Every Sunday at 4:30 and Wednesday at 6, boys and girls from different elementary, middle, and high schools come together to build skills, confidence, and lifelong friendships. With high-level experienced coaches and a positive training atmosphere, every Warrior learns to work hard and have fun doing it. Whether you're chasing your first medal or your next state title, Warrior RTC will help you in your relentless pursuit of self-improvement. Visit online at warriorrtc.com to learn more about the year-round wrestling opportunities and train like a champion.
Shop local. It's a phrase we hear all the time, but for the staff and family at Package Liquors, it means something extra. Package, with locations in Decatur, Monroe, Berne, and Markle, is a local family-owned business that has been serving local communities for decades. We take your support and patronage and return it by supporting local athletes on WZBD and donating to different organizations across Adams County. The next time you're deciding where to shop, shop local. Shop at Package. It's where your friends shop.
When faced with the difficult task of making arrangements for your loved one, many emotions and questions arise. What would they want me to do if they were here? Where is the money coming from? How much should I spend? Do they want burial or cremation? The staff at Haggard, Hershey, and Zelt Funeral Home can help you navigate these tough questions. Make your wishes known and allow us to make sure that your wishes are carried out. Call Ryan Hershey or Eric Zelt at 260-724-7167 to schedule an appointment today.
Welcome back once again to the Corteva Coliseum on the campus of the Indiana Fairgrounds. Rex Brewer along with Dane filling back for another segment here of our High School Wrestling Weekly. And Dane, we talk about different outfits that the wrestlers have and the coaches, and I think I saw the first today, a coach wearing a pink crushed velvet sport coat. Right up there.
He must have stolen it from your closet, Rex.
I don't think so.
Wrestlers continue to make their way in after the weigh-ins. We actually were privileged enough to enter the arena before any of the wrestlers and the coaches, so that was pretty cool. So let's jump right into it. We're going to spend some time featuring our returning state champions, whether it was last year or before, and some wild numbers for you. You'd think, we often look at things through the boys' point of view because that's what we're so used to. You wouldn't think that you'd have a state tournament where you'd have 12 girls returning who've won a state title already.
Really?
It was not a great year for seniors last year, to be honest with you. Mallory Winter was one of the few winners. no pun intended, in last year's event because there's so many underclassmen who are so talented. Your first clash between a pair of state champions is likely to come at 105 pounds. Isabel Ocampo is, like you said in the last segment, a 2-time state champion. She's a junior, has her eyes set on becoming a 4-timer. She is on the opposite side of the bracket as Nybert, and Nybert was a champion last year. So, you've got girls who, I'd have to look back at last year. I don't know if Nybert has a loss, and I think Ocampo has 1 or 2 losses, but I think they were up a weight last year. I don't know.
They have her at 31-0 right now.
I have to look.
And they have Nybert at 26.
What her all-time record is. So that's one to look for. Then, of course, at 115 pounds, we could have another historic moment as Kendall Moe attempts to become a 4-time state champion. Of course, she won 3 titles at Hamilton Heights. She's since transferred to Cathedral. And, of course, we talked about her potential matchup with Kinley Keffer. They're both on opposite sides. Then you go to 125, and you have last year's state champ Kayla Ruel from Milan. She's 31-1. She won her regional, and she's at the top of the bracket. So we'll keep an eye on her. Kaylin Foudy from Whiteland is on the other side. Then at 130 pounds, you've got state champion Ava Strayer. She won as a freshman last year for Crown Point. She'll take on a freshman, Janila Dale, in this first round here in the morning. And then the big one at 135. This is, I think, probably the match that I'm most excited to see, and that is between Naima Ghaffar and Nevaeh Wilson. Those two wrestled in the finals last week, and it was Wilson who came away with a fall, correct?
Yeah, correct.
So Ghaffar, that's her first loss of the season, while Wilson had 3 losses, and I think 2 of them were to Ghaffar. So that should be a great rubber match for a state title, and that's the beauty of it. So Ghaffar, a 1-time state champ, Wilson, a 1-time state champ, both of them seniors, and so one of them is going to potentially end their career with a win, and of course one of them for sure will finish it with a loss. At 140, the aforementioned Maddie Marsh, also on a path to become a 4-timer, but Rex, we've seen it, we've talked about it before. Just because you got 3 in the bag doesn't mean that the 4th is handed to you automatically.
They don't hand it the medal when you walk in the door this morning.
So you got to earn it, and so Maddie Marsh, a 2-time state champion, she's a junior, and she'll be a heavy favorite to come out of that 140 bracket. Then at 145, it'll be a potential redemption for Ava Allen. She's a senior. She's ranked number 1 in the state. She's undefeated. She was a state champ as a freshman, but unable to repeat sophomore or junior year. So that will be a cool story, and I'm really hoping that we get a chance to talk to her tonight. And then at 155, everybody's going to be talking about Alexandra Bostic, who is on the program. But don't forget, she's got a state champ in her bracket as well as Turtles in there, Reagan Trineri. And those two are thankfully on opposite sides of the bracket. And so you may end up having a returning state champ take on a returning state champ. And you don't get that very often on the boys' side or the girls' side. At 170, 190, it's wide open as, of course, Mallory Winter has graduated, right? And so there's no returning state champs in either one of those weight classes. And so we'll have a brand new name to give some fame. And then at 235, you've got a great storyline in Aubrey Bartowiak, undefeated, trying to redeem herself from last year's crazy upset loss in the semifinals. And meanwhile, on the other side, you have the young lady who took advantage of that situation, Rachel Adolph from North Central, who won her state title with Bartowiak knocked out from the other side. And that would be a great state finals match, and a great way for Bartowiak to have a chance to close out her career.
Dane, as we drop back to 170, a couple of big matches there. You're looking at one loss to Emerson Atkins from Tipton, just 1 loss in the season. And then also you've got Eleanor Robertson, sophomore from Franklin Community, with just 1 loss in the season. And then you got Lainey Pepler from Rochester Community. It's been ranked up here high all season long. She's 29-1 with just 1 loss. So there's 3 one-loss wrestlers in 170. So no returning state champion, but there's got some girls there that are really going to fight for that top seat.
Yeah, and we're just a few minutes away, I think, from getting started on that Walk of Champions. They'll ask everybody to clear, and then Robert will be able to give all of his instructions, and then we'll have that for you on the other link. And as long as technology works with us today, and we do have a good internet feed, we want to thank the people here at the Corteva Coliseum for allowing us to do so.
Don't tell anybody.
Yeah, exactly. And we hope that we can stay on that all day. So if you are wanting to check out the action and you hear our interlude music, that just means that we're on a break and there's no wrestling going on. We do want to let everybody know that it is audio only throughout the day, as you have to pay for the video feed. Those feeds will be coming mat side, and they do have individuals who are set to call that action for you, but we will promise you they will not be as entertaining as listening to us do.
As the post I made, I tagged on Indiana last night, only place you can listen for free.
That's right. So let's queue up another round of messages, and when we come back, we'll talk more about the girls' state finals.
First Bank of Bern is proud to serve as the only local bank in Adams County. I'm Jessica Zerker with First Bank of Bern in Decatur. We believe that a bank's strength is rooted in the prosperity of the communities it serves. This drives our commitment to nurturing the success of businesses in our local area. We provide our customers with easy-to-use banking solutions and exceptional service as part of our dedication to fostering their growth. Whether it's through loans, lines of credit, cash management, or other tailored services, First Bank of Bern stands ready to support your business in thriving and prospering. First Bank of Bern, member FDIC, equal opportunity lender.
Based out of the Indiana Tech Wrestling Facility, the Warrior Regional Training Center is an elite training center for youth wrestlers, high school wrestlers, and college and senior level athletes. Featuring a college coaching staff with a strong history of developing talent and producing results, Warrior RTC will give any wrestler quality training partners to push them to new levels in the state-of-the-art 25,000 square foot wrestling building. The training is affordable and private training is also available. Put Warrior RTC in your corner this season. Locally owned and operated by Shane Reynolds and family, DDD Maintenance and Repair is your place to go for heavy-duty truck and diesel engine repair. Located just outside of Monroe, DDD Maintenance and Repair also offers sand and glass blasting for all of your surface restoration projects. Whether you're looking to get your truck or diesel engine to run like new, or your metal restoration project to look like new, we have a blast renewing the past. Give Shane and the guys a call at 223-5442. That's DDD Maintenance and Repair.
Renowned around the Midwest for his skills and his creative abilities, Nate Bowers and the team at Bowers Paint Studio in Decatur work with a wide range of clients, from collision repair to custom paint jobs for classic cars and motorcycles. Located on Monroe Street on the west side of Decatur, Bowers is your place for body work too, whether it's getting your ride back on the road or finally getting that classic car, the paint job you've always wanted. Stop by or give Nate a call to put the best in the business to work for you.
Welcome back to Corteva Coliseum on the campus of Indiana Fairgrounds. And Nate, a good friend of ours of the show, Nate Bowers, was there last night. His daughter Isabella was recognized as a senior manager for the Bagaboos on their senior night. And one thing I've seen this several times from Adams Central Mothers Clubs, they recognized the seniors from Delta last night as well, giving them some balloons and a Gatorade. And they did that for volleyball. I saw flowers go out to the volleyball team. When they do seniors night, they recognize seniors from another team. And I think that's just a classy touch.
Yeah, it's a good way to show some sportsmanship and to build relationships with other teams. And certainly from a wrestling perspective, you do have to kind of cultivate that relationship. When you put somebody on your schedule, you expect to be treated with some respect when you're the visitor, whether it's your coaches, whether it's your fans, whether it's an accommodation on what time you're going to arrive and all of those things. And it's not quite like some of the other sports where your AD puts you on the schedule, you show up, you don't care much. When you only wrestle, really, if you think about it, on the boys' side of things, you really only have 8 opponents a year that you wrestle head-to-head on a night. And some teams only do 6. And so to keep those teams on your schedule, you got to have a little bit of back and forth.
You know, I think the Delta fans come in. They had a nice crowd that traveled up from the Muncie area, and I think they enjoyed the show. Am Central has a new light show they put out, and it was a good time.
Our good friend John was just peeking around the corner. I spied him yesterday. He was at the Belmont match, as he always is, and he had his headset on. And so I know there's a delay, right, when it goes to the radio. So I mentioned his name and said that he'd no doubt be here today. And about 10 seconds later, I saw him look up, and he raised his hand. And, it's people like that love the sport and love to watch that really make our job worth doing.
I didn't see Bruce Teamy in his pillowcase right behind him, but he's in the building someplace, I can guarantee you.
Bruce Teamy was there last night. And, of course, Bruce at one time or another wrestled in his own state finals and won a state medal. And that experience has, inspired a lifelong love of the sport. And we want to get back to talking big picture things. That's a lot of what this is all about, is it not? It's about getting people excited about the sport of wrestling. And when we've talked about it before on the philosophical level, you're adding a whole new group of people who now are like, yeah, I'm a wrestling fan. And whether or not that transfers over to anything on the boys' side doesn't really matter. But generations from now, you're going to be talking about, a lot of these ladies out here are going to become mothers. And their kid may go from being a basketball player to being a wrestler. And I think that ultimately is what's going to keep sustained interest and success in the sport long term.
With the addition of social media becoming so much popular and girls wrestling being very much so, I've seen a lot of videos where mothers will put on and they'll show a girl playing volleyball kind of not very well, and they ask you if you want to be wrestling, and then the next picture shows them throwing a headlock on somebody, and it's like, let them wrestle. Say yes to that. And I mean, it's a good feeling, and it gives girls another outlet. I was talking to the Delta coaches last night. Look at the opportunities. Every year you hear of like another 3 or 4 colleges in our area open up a girls wrestling program, and you tell me what college scholarship Katie Rowles at 100 pounds is going to get, unless gymnastics is about the only other thing that she may get into, but typically there's just not a lot of space. If you're a 6'10" power outside hitter for a volleyball team, you can get in if you're a good basketball player, but the Katie Rowles and the Kendall Moes are not going to get college scholarships to play any other sport than women's wrestling.
Another thing that we're seeing as we watch everybody file in and you just kind of look at people and try to figure out what they're doing and who they're supporting, I think you've got a lot of classmates and teammates who are here supporting the girls who have made it. And I think that's another thing. I listen to a lot of girls in high school that I have as students who don't know much about wrestling. Maybe their dad didn't wrestle. And they're really hesitant to show up to a wrestling match because they don't really know what's going on.
Yeah.
But when they've got a friend who's on the mat, all of a sudden it means more. And I think that's just going to draw more and more people. And ultimately that's what we need, because we need people to show up to matches, to attend, to be fans.
I see a lot of boys out on the mat that are sparring partners, rolling around with their teammates. They're wrestling themselves, so they got the doctor's note to get out of class today to come down and work out with their partners and their teammates. And that's what you want to see, because a lot of these kids, they wrestle side by side in the same room every day long. And this just happens to be the state finals for the girls this weekend. Boys are about 4 weeks away, and then they'll get into it as well.
Well, Rex, we're going to run through one more round of commercials, and then we will wrap up our show here, and then we'll get ready to do the Walk of Champions at the start of our other broadcast. Right now, you're listening to High School Wrestling Weekly here on WZBD.
Hello, this is Joel from your local hometown Package Liquors. Package Liquors provides the best selection of domestic, import, and craft beers in Z-Land. With locations in Decatur, Monroe, Bern, and Markle, you're always just a short drive away from picking up the perfect last-minute gift or just the right six-pack to watch the game with friends. You're never a stranger when you walk through the doors, and our smiling staff never has a problem giving you a recommendation when you're not sure what it is you need. Stop in at one of our 4 locations and see what hometown service looks like. Package Liquors, it's where your friends shop. Hello, this is Joel from your local
If you're serious about taking your wrestling to the next level, then Warrior RTC Wrestling Club is the place to be. Every Sunday at 4:30 and Wednesday at 6, boys and girls from different elementary, middle, and high schools come together to build skills, confidence, and lifelong friendships. With high-level experienced coaches and a positive training atmosphere, every Warrior learns to work hard and have fun doing it. Whether you're chasing your first medal or your next state title, Warrior RTC will help you in your relentless pursuit of self-improvement. Visit online at warriorrtc.com to learn more about the year-round wrestling opportunities and train like a champion.
Welcome back to Corteva Coliseum, and that commercial read by our good friend Dave Nathan, who dipped his toes into the waters of wrestling last week, and we heard good things about both he and A.J. Bradley, along with Cole Mendez, carrying the girls regional, and that's something that you and I had committed to cover girls wrestling, and they put the team state same time. Dave stepped in, a couple of other friends of ours stepped in, and we want to make sure that we did carry that coverage from Muncie Central last week.
Well, I tell you what, in this business, it sure pays to have friends. There's a lot of things that you just don't get allowed to do because some guy with a badge on says that you can't do it. And, whether it's getting in the back door or getting a hookup or having one of the officials hold for 10 seconds, it makes a big difference. Well, Rex, let's remind everybody of what the schedule is today. Pull it up here. Parade of Champions is set to begin at 9:30. It looks like they're on schedule for that. The opening round action will begin at 10 a.m. And, last year, I don't remember if they stopped for each weight. I think they went right through. I think they just went to the next.
I think they ran it straight through because they knew that because you got an extra round of wrestling than they do at the boys tournament on one day.
The quarterfinals and the semifinals are all set to continue round after round without a break. So like they've done for many years in the boys state finals, you'll be assigned a mat, and if you win on that mat in the first round, you'll return to that same mat for the second round, and if you win that mat, you'll move closer to the middle, and they'll wrestle the semifinals in the middle and the consolations on the outside, and then they'll go through and they'll wrestle 3rd, 5th, and 7th place matches in the afternoon. That will begin at 4:15. There will be an intermission at 3:30, and then the state finals, the championship bouts under the spotlight in the center of the arena are set to begin at 7 o'clock. We're hoping for some interviews with some champions. We're going to see what we can do on that, and just overall really looking forward to working with you finally and also to continue what has been a long time quest for us to give as much credit to the girls as possible and to call another state finals.
And with that wraps up another edition here of the High School Wrestling Weekly on WZBD.